This monster, hoarding a mountain of cursed gold, was once a man.
And his downfall, the ruin of his entire family, didn't begin with a battle. It began with a dead otter and a bad joke from a god. This is the story of the cursed ring that inspired the Lord of the Rings. So you got Odin, the big man himself, basically the CEO of the Nine Realms, out on a road trip. He's got Hœnir, who's probably just there for moral support. And then there's Loki. Oh, Loki. The guy who shows up to every party with a lighter and a can of gasoline. You know the type? They roll up to this waterfall in Nithavalir, which is basically the dwarf equivalent of a strip mall in Boca Raton. Underground probably smells like damp earth and desperation. Odin and Hœnir, being the good little tourists they are, want to meet Hreiðmarr, the Dwarf King. Loki, naturally, is bored stiff and probably checking his Twitter. Then, disaster strikes. As it always does when Loki's around, he spots an otter. Now, most people see an otter and think, "Ah, cute." Loki sees an otter and thinks, target practice. Throws a rock, boom, dead otter. He skins the poor bastard, probably muttering about how it looked at him funny, and then slinks after the others. They finally meet Hreiðmarr, and the king immediately goes whiter than a freshly bleached sheet. Turns out that otter pelt Loki's dragging around like a trophy is actually his son. Yeah, his shape-shifting son. Talk about a bad first impression. So Hreiðmarr, being a reasonable dwarf king who's just had his kid turned into a fashion accessory, calls in his other two sons, Fafnir and Regan. These guys look like they're fresh out of a CrossFit gym, and they promptly hogtie our gods. Hreiðmarr says, "Look, I'm not a monster, but you killed my boy. You got to fill this otter pelt with gold until not a single hair is showing. That's the custom." Now, this otter pelt, it's like one of those magic wallets that never gets full. It stretches, it expands, it's basically a black hole for precious metals. This is an impossible amount of gold. But Loki, the conniving little weasel, always has an idea. Probably something involving defrauding the elderly or selling essential oils. He remembers this dwarf, Andvari, a master craftsman. The guy apparently swims around as a fish, and get this, one day he dives so deep he ends up in the land of water nymphs. Sounds like my kind of vacation. These nymphs are sitting on piles of gold like it's a giant trust fund. Andvari, being a dwarf, is naturally drawn to shiny things. He just wants to see it, he says. But then the nymphs, because apparently water nymphs are also mean girls, start at him at his awkward appearance. You can almost hear the ooh, look at his little legs. Now, a dwarf with a bruised ego is a dangerous thing. Andvari, in a fit of rage, grabs their gold, not just a little bit, all of it. And with this stolen loot, he crafts himself a special ring. This ring, ladies and gentlemen, is the ultimate get-rich-quick scheme. As long as Andvari wears it, his wealth just multiplies. It's like a crypto wallet that only goes up, and no one's rug-pulling you. Loki, ever the opportunist, sees this as the perfect solution to their dead otter impossible gold problem. He goes back to the waterfall, whips out a net bigger than your average fishing trawler, and snags Andvari, still in fish form, wriggling like a desperate politician caught in a scandal. Loki, probably with a smirk that would make a used car salesman blush, tells Andvari, "Hand over the treasure, or your fish sticks, buddy." Andvari, panicking, directs Loki to his lair. Loki walks in, sees heaps of gold like Scrooge McDuck's vault, and thinks, "Bingo! This is better than a tax refund." He lets Andvari go, but then a glint, a tiny, almost imperceptible sparkle. Loki, with eyes like a hawk spotting a forgotten French fry, sees it, the ring, the most powerful treasure of all. Andvari, bless his little dwarf heart, pleads, No, not the ring. It's cursed. It'll ruin you. Loki, being Loki, probably just rolled his eyes. Yeah, sure, whatever, old man. He rips the ring off Andvari's finger. Andvari, seething like a bitter ex, lays down the curse. This ring will be the doom of everyone who owns it. Foreshadowing much, back at Hreiðmarr's palace, they dump the gold into the otter skin. It looks like it's totally covered. Aha! Loki probably crows. We're out of here, suckers! But Hreiðmarr, with the keen eye of a man who just lost a son, spots it. A single bare whisker. Just one. Because of course. So the gods, with a sigh of resignation, hand over the ring. Hreiðmarr slips it on, and you can practically see the greed take root in his eyes like a malignant tumor. Regin, the smarter of the two surviving sons, shudders. Fafnir, on the other hand, is practically drooling with envy. He's already mentally cashing in on his father's impending demise. Later, Fafnir, unable to contain his inner golem, demands his share of the wealth. Hreiðmarr, now completely consumed by the ring's power, basically tells him to pound sand. So Fafnir does what any rational brother would do in a mythological story. He kills his father, probably over a really awkward family dinner. He rips the ring off Hreiðmarr's still warm finger and bolts with the treasure. He ends up in a cave, probably with a do not disturb sign, and curls up around his new possessions. The ring, true to its word, starts working its magic. It warps him inside and out. Over time, Fafnir transforms into a gruesome gold hoarding dragon. Yeah, from a dwarf to a dragon. Happens to the best of us. Meanwhile, Fafnir's betrayal and his dragon-sized treasure hoard are eating away at Regin. He can't get over it. It's like a bad Yelp review he just can't shake. So he enlists his loyal foster son, a warrior named Sigurd. Sigurd sounds like the kind of guy who just gets things done, no questions asked. Slay the monster, my brother, became, Regin probably says, trying to sound noble while secretly plotting. Sigurd, being the good foster son, does as he's told. Slashes the dragon, probably took a selfie with the carcass. Afterwards, Regin, with a look that screams evil genius, asks Sigurd to roast the dragon's heart. He wants to eat it. Because, that's normal. Sigurd, ever the obedient type, starts roasting the heart, and because fate has a twisted sense of humor, he tastes the blood before serving it. And the moment that dragon blood hits his tongue, he can understand birds.
Did you see him? He looks suspicious.
I heard he stole the shiny pebble from the elder.
No, it was the golden acorn.
Not just chirps, but full-blown feathered gossip. And what are they chirping about? Regin. And how Regin is totally going to kill Sigurd after he gets his hands on that dragon heart. So Sigurd, being a pragmatic hero, decides to skip the middleman. He slays Regin. No awkward goodbyes, no emotional speeches. Just, you were going to kill me, so I'm killing you first. And then he takes all the wealth for himself, because why not? But this, my friends, was just the beginning. That damn ring. Over the years, it would rip families apart faster than a Thanksgiving dinner with your crazy uncle. It would doom lovers, empower some poor schmuck for a hot minute, and then absolutely destroy them. Andvari's curse wasn't just a threat, it was a promise. A vicious cycle of greed, betrayal, and general mayhem that consumed countless lives. And here's the real kicker, the punchline to this whole cosmic joke. All this insanity, all this murder and misery, it inspired some of the most influential works of the 19th and 20th centuries. So next time you're watching an opera or reading a fantasy novel, remember it probably all started with a dead otter, a cursed ring, and a whole lot of bad decisions by people who should have known better. Good luck out there, folks. Try not to piss off any dwarfs.